welcome back to the broadcast. Well, for many, 2013 was a year of change, and for some people that includes ending a relationship or a marriage. So dealing with divorce over the holidays is tough, but now that the new year is here, how do you move forward? Melinda Eitzen is here to talk about that. Eitzen or Eitzen?
Eitzen.
Eitzen. So Melinda, you were telling me that January is actually the highest divorce rate in January.
Strangely. And the reason is the people that normally would file for divorce in November and December, they don't want to file during the holidays. So they wait.
Okay.
So January, you kind of get 3 months worth in one.
It's backed up, right?
Exactly.
So if people have made the decision to divorce or to split up, starting a new year can be kind of a good thing for them, can it? Because it's a chance to sort of start over. And what are some of the things that you encourage the couples that you talk to do?
One thing that I think most people getting a divorce really want to have an amicable divorce, but I think the big mistake that they make is they start the case out with a sign of war. So for example, right before they file for divorce, they clean out the bank account. Or right before they file for divorce, when the other person's out of town, they pull the moving van up and take half the furniture out of the house. Or they take the kids and drop them off with their mom in Oklahoma before they file for divorce. It's really difficult to then say, I'd like to have an amicable divorce, because they've just created this horrible sign of war.
Right.
And sometimes that comes from lawyer advice, and I think it's very poor lawyer advice. The lawyer is fearful, I think, that, oh, if I don't tell them to take half the money, what if the other person takes it all? Well, you know what? We can get in front of a judge really quickly. If the other person acts really poorly, we can get in front of a judge and fix that. But the damage they're doing by giving that advice and by people taking it is they're declaring war. Well, when you divorce by war, it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah. And takes longer. It's harder on the children, which is a whole other subject that we won't get into today, but you know, that just adds another element to it. So you're saying, so act in an amicable way if you can. Now, what about if you're angry, though? What if your spouse has cheated on you, or something's happened that makes it really volatile, that makes the relationship volatile?
And many cases start that way. Unfortunately, I don't think adultery is the cause of divorce, but it's a symptom of a failed marriage, and it does cause people to finally file. So it does, people are very angry.
Interesting that you say that, because that's really a good point that you make, that it's not, people don't get divorced because of that it's a symptom of a failed marriage prior to that.
Yeah, happy people don't commit adultery.
Right.
Only miserable people.
Right.
And unfortunately, they just wait and stay in misery, and then they have an affair. I recommend wait till after the divorce to have the affair.
Yeah, that would be
advice.
best, right? What are some other things that you talk to your couples about?
Well, I give them precautions to be aware that their behavior is going to be looked at in this case. So they may have a custody fight they're having, they may be fighting over the money, but in any case, we want to look our best, right? Before the court, or if we're settling, or if we're in collaborative, which is a more amicable way to get divorced, we still want to look our best. So they need to be aware that anything they're doing, whether it's walking down the street, out in public, they could be being photographed by a PI, they could be being tape recorded. Of course, with all of our texting, all of that is captured forever. So they want to look their best. They need to find some support, whether it's a counselor, friends, clergy, somebody that they can talk to, so they're not venting all of this publicly.
Well, and you bring up a good point about venting publicly. A lot of people take to social media and they make a declaration, or they say something, or they change a profile pic, or they do something that kind of says to the world whatever message they're trying to get out there, like either it's his fault, it's not my fault, or vice versa. What are your suggestions based around that?
Stay off social media while you're getting divorced. It's really wise to have as little in print and on media as possible while you're going through a divorce, and try to rely on your friends and family to support you and get through it. It's a major life change.
And it's
one
hard
of the
to,
most stressful changes.
It's hard too when you see people, like if you have friends that are getting a divorce, and you know, if they're posting things online or posting photos and making it look like all is well, everything's great, we're the happy couple, but you all know they're not. Do you give advice to those couples as far as, you know, how to behave?
Yes, definitely how to behave and how to deal with their friends, because it's hard. The friends don't always know how to support both people. The best thing is give your friends permission to support both of you.
Right, right.
Because they don't want to be in the middle, right? They don't want to have to choose. It's awkward.
There's nothing worse than that. Yeah.
Right, and especially if you have children, even if you don't like your spouse, it's best for your children, for your spouse to be okay.
I'm so glad you're coming back next week to talk, and I'd like to talk about the kids more, and I'd also like to talk a little bit more about social media and how to like help a friend maybe move on if he or she is maybe in denial of like what's going down. And I'm sure you've got tips for that too.
Absolutely. I'll look forward to it.
All right, good. We'll see you next week. You can also get in touch with Melinda by going to our website, thebroadcasttv.com. Click on today's links to find all this information, and again, she'll be back next week. We have an all-American classic dish when we return with a healthy twist that might save you a few calories. What's better? First of the year. Save calories. We love it. We're back in the kitchen with Scott Jones next.